Good morning, dear students. I welcome you all for your English session. So, in today's video, you all are going to listen to yet another imaginary story, but in the form of a poem. That is, Unit 4, poem number 25, The Man in the Moon. Now, children, why did I make use of the word imaginary? Is because whatever I will explain to you according to the stanzas of the poem, all that explanation has no reality attached to it, and each and every verse of the poem is just imaginary and written to arouse interest among students. So, at the end of the poem, you too can motivate yourself to think of an imaginary dream, and that fantasy dream you can pen it down in the form of your own poem. Well, students, before we start with the poem explanation, let's begin with some realistic facts in relation to this poem. Well, children, you all have learnt about the celestial bodies in your lesson number 1 of your subject, EVS part 1, right? Now, based on some of the information what you have learned in that lesson, I will ask you two questions based on the same picture what has been displayed on your screen. So my first question is for the same picture is, what is the sun as a celestial body known as? Listen again. The first question, what is the sun as a celestial body known as? And my second question for the same picture is, what is the moon as a celestial body known as? I'll give you 1 minute to think on these two questions. Just think, children. Yes, children. So, let me tell you, the sun as a celestial body is also known as a star, and the moon as a celestial body is known as a natural satellite of the earth that keeps revolving around the earth. You all can see it in this picture on your screen, children. Now, children, why do we call it as a natural satellite? It is because man has not made the moon. Moon has got created by its own self. Students, other important thing that you all should know is about ISRO. The full form, do you know the full form of ISRO? That is ISRO. It is Indian Space Research Organization. Now, dear students, in this ISRO, or which is also known as organizational body, here we have many scientists working together. And dear students, all the scientists have been successful in creating artificial satellites and then launching the satellites, as you can see in this picture displayed on your screen, children, are in the form of mission to explore in the details of other planets or celestial bodies in our solar system. So just like we have the natural satellites in the solar system, similarly, man also makes own satellites. Okay, children? And they call those satellites which are man-made as artificial satellites. So the most famous among the successful missions that the ISRO has launched are, the first one is known as Mission Chandrayaan 1, which was launched in the year 2008. And second is known as Mission Mangalyaan, which was launched in the year 2013. So children, you should remember that ISRO has launched many artificial satellites, numbering at least 118. But besides artificial satellites, they have also launched some successful missions. And the most among these are the Chandrayaan 1 and the Mangalyaan. Now children, all what I have informed you through the previous slides are all reality based facts. But now what I'm going to explain you will be all imaginary facts, because you are going to learn a fantasy based poem, and the name of the poem is number 25, The Man in the Moon. and I request you all to refer your textbook page number 64 and follow the reading of the stanzas. So I'll be reading the poem first for you all, and I'll be explaining the poem in the other slides. So my dear students, as I read the poem for you all, I want you all to pay attention in your textbook or either pay attention on the slide as I read the poem for you all. So it is unit 4, poem number 25, The Man in the Moon. The man in the moon, as he sails the sky, is a very remarkable skipper. But he made a mistake when he tried to take a drink of milk from the dipper. He dipped it right out of the Milky Way and slowly and carefully filled it. The big bear growled and the little bear howled and frightened him so that he spilled it. After the recitation of the poem, now it's time to listen to the explanation of part of the poem. My dear students, my very first question is there any life that exists on the moon? Well, each one of us has our own answers, but according to this poem, it has been stated that yes, there is a man living on the moon. The very first line of the poem tells us that there is a man in the moon who keeps sailing in the sky, as you can see in this picture, children. Now, normally people on the earth sail on the water, right? With the help of a boat or a ship. But this man in the moon is found to be sailing high up in the sky, and his boat or ship upon which he is traveling is called the moon. Further, in the same stanza, we also come to know that this man is not an ordinary man. The man, in fact, is described as a remarkable skipper. Skipper means he is a brilliant captain of his ship. But children, even after being a brilliant captain, do you know what did this man do? One day, it so happened that this man made a big mistake. So, my dear students, the man in the moon also tried to take a drink of milk from the deeper. The meaning of deeper is it is actually a container which looks like what you can see on the screen here, children. And we mostly use this dipper in order to fill any kind of liquid in it. So in this poem, the man also made use of this deeper container in order to fill the milk in it. Next, children, this man very slowly and carefully filled his dipper with milk by dipping the container in the Milky Milky Way means it is a band of light consisting of stars that spread across the sky at night, children. What you can see on the screen is an image of the Milky Way. But children, do you know what happened next? When he slowly and carefully filled the milk in the dipper. So children, when this man was about to lift the dipper that was filled with milk, suddenly he found that the little bear and the big bear, who were observing him from far away, they scared him away with growling and howling loudly. Now, students, growling and howling means these are loud, scary noises which are mostly made by the wild animals. Now, this poor man, when he heard that sudden growling and howling sound, what happened to him? That dipper which he had carefully filled it with milk, suddenly he got frightened because of that growling and howling sound. And when he got frightened, what happened? And all the milk in the dipper container got spilled away, as you can see in this picture, children. And children, as the milk got spilled away, it got formed into beautiful stars that got spread across in the sky. So you can see in this picture, the moment he was frightened and his spilled the milk out from the depot. What happened to the liquid milk? It got changed. There was a magic suddenly, and all that milk got transformed into beautiful stars shining that had spread across the sky. So, normally, children, if you make a mistake as a child, if you spill the milk, what your parents will do at the most, they will shout at you, right? Because you have spilled the milk, which is not right. But here, since the poem is imaginary, you can see the magic. You can see the imagination. And here, the imagination is what? When the milk got spilled, it got changed or transformed into shining stars. And so, children, with this, we come to an end of this beautiful short poem. I hope you all have understood the funny facts or the imaginary facts that are written in this poem. Just to create interest in students, because when you will develop interest, then only you will like to learn something. So, this poem was totally imaginary. There is no reality. Until date, no research has proved that there is man in the moon. So, Man in the Moon, this poem is just an imaginary concept which has been portrayed through this poem. Thank you, dear students, and God bless you all. And the notes for the same poem will be posted on your class WhatsApp group. And do complete your notebooks in a good handwriting.